Today, we're going to talk about your roommates. Yeah, the ones you never knew you had. They're living on this huge, complex, and honestly, kind of bizarre landscape. That is, your own skin. So let's meet them.
You know how your parents probably told you that monsters aren't real? Well, they kind of lied. Monsters are absolutely real, but they're not hiding under your bed.
That's right, they are living on your face, like right now. As we speak, there's a whole microscopic world of them just going about their day, and you are their entire universe.
So you really have to stop thinking of your skin as just a barrier. Think of it more like a sprawling national park, a dynamic environment that is just teeming with life.
All right, so first up, let's get introduced to a few of the most common and I've got to say most fascinating residents of this little ecosystem you've got going on.
So our first resident, it's not a bacterium, it's not a virus. This little guy is Demotic folliculorum, the face mite. And yes, you heard that right, it's an arachnid, a tiny cousin to spiders.
And the lifestyle of these face mites is just wild. First off, you get them from your parents, so it's a family thing. They spend their days burrowed deep inside your hair follicles, just munching away on the natural oil your skin makes. Then, when you're asleep, they crawl out onto the surface of your face to mate. But here's the absolute craziest fact. They don't have an anus. They just store all their waste inside their body for their entire life. Yeah.
Okay, next up is a name you've probably heard before, Staphylococcus aureus, or as most of us know it, staph. It is one of the most common bacteria living on our skin.
Now, staph is kind of two-faced. Most of the time, it's a perfectly fine neighbor, just hanging out. But if the ecosystem gets thrown out of whack, it can cause some serious problems. It's a leading cause of skin infections, and part of the reason is that it can build these protective shields around itself called biofilms. Think of them like tiny bacterial fortresses. This makes it super hard for our immune system and for antibiotics to get to them. And that is exactly how some strains turn into the nasty superbug we call MRSA.
But our little world isn't just mites and bacteria. Oh no, it is also home to fungi, and the most common one living on your skin is a type of yeast called Malassezia.
And you can probably guess its lifestyle by now. Just like our other residents, Malassezia loves the oily parts of your skin. And yep, it can also create those protective biofilms. But in a healthy system, our own immune defenses and all the other microbes living right alongside it keep things under control. It always comes down to balance.
So, what happens when that balance is totally shattered? When one resident starts to take over, or some outside invader just crashes the party? Well, that's when things get ugly. That's when we get infections.
And you can see how quickly a small problem can escalate. It might start as something that seems pretty minor, like folliculitis. That's just an inflamed hair follicle. But if that infection gets deeper, it turns into a painful boil. And if a few of those boils connect under the skin, you get a carbuncle. And that can be a really serious infection.
And believe me, it is not just about follicles. When this ecosystem is out of balance, it can lead to a whole range of problems. You've got impetigo, which you often see in kids with those distinct honey-colored crusts, or cellulitis, which is a much deeper, more painful infection. The specific issue really just depends on which bacteria manages to get the upper hand.
Okay, so far, this all sounds like your skin is a constant war zone, right? But that's only half the story. Because a lot of these microbes aren't invaders at all. They're actually our allies.
Let's try an analogy. Think of your immune system as a bunch of sentries, constantly on patrol, guarding your body against any real threats.
But here's the thing. A brand new sentry doesn't automatically know who's a friend and who's a foe. They need to be trained. They have to learn to recognize the locals so they don't just attack everything on sight.
And that is where our resident microbes come in. New research has actually shown that certain good bacteria on our skin act as the drill sergeants for our immune cells. They're the ones who teach them to tell the difference between what's normal and what's a real danger.
This brings us to a really important term, commensal bacteria. These are the microbes that are officially on our team. They don't just live on us without causing trouble, they are actively helping control our skin's immunity and keeping inflammation down. They are, quite literally, our tiny guardians.
So this completely new way of thinking, that our skin is a complex ecosystem that we have to work with, not against, well, it's opening up entirely new frontiers in medicine. It's a total game changer.
So what if I told you that the future of fighting bad bacteria isn't some new, stronger antibiotic?
What if it's a virus? Meet the bacteriophage.
The difference in strategy here is everything. An antibiotic is like a chemical carpet bomb. It's powerful, sure, but it wipes out everything in its path. The good bacteria go down with the bad. Phage therapy, on the other hand, is like a biological smart missile. Each phage is precisely engineered to hunt and destroy only one specific type of bacteria, leaving all of our helpful allies completely unharmed.
And how it works is straight out of science fiction. The name bacteriophage literally means bacteria eater. They look like these tiny futuristic landing pods. A phage lands on its target bacterium, injects its own DNA, and basically turns that bacterium into a factory for making hundreds of new phages. And then the bacterium just bursts open, releasing a brand new army of tiny viral assassins to hunt down more of the exact same enemy.
The potential here it's just staggering. That number you're looking at, 10 with 31 zeros after it, that's the estimated number of phages on planet Earth. They are the most abundant life form on the planet, an unbelievable, untapped arsenal just waiting for us in the fight against infection.
So we end on this thought. We've gone from seeing our skin as just a surface to be scrubbed clean, to understanding it's a complex world that we host. And that really shifts our role, doesn't it? We're not just cleaners anymore. We're something more, like gardeners, caretakers for this microscopic ecosystem that is, fundamentally, a part of us. So what does it mean to take care of it well? That's the question science is only just beginning to answer.